85mm focal length, the mid-telephoto, is generally regarded as a perfect length for portrait photography. At 85mm you get that extra subject to background separation, but still enough coverage to shoot with indoors. There's a lot of different 85mm lenses out there. Every brand and manufacturer has got one or more in their catalog, but Canon are doing something different with this. With this Canon 85mm f1.2L DS lens, you get not only ultra-wide aperture of f1.2, I don't think anyone else, no other brand makes one with f1.2 aperture, but with this model you also get defocus smoothing. As they say, you get what you pay for, and this is not a cheap lens. This is one of those lenses that you seriously must need to justify its cost. Is it worth the money? Is it really that good? Keep watching, don't skip to find out. Before I go into it, I must say a massive thanks to UK Digital for lending me this lens together with Canon R6 for this review. However, I was not asked or paid by UK Digital, Canon or anyone else to say anything specific, so this is my honest and 100% unbiased opinion about this lens. Performance. I do shoot with a lot of lenses. I certainly shoot with more different lenses from different brands than an average person, as I do review lenses here weekly on my channel. Ever so often I get to shoot with a lens that absolutely gets me excited and wowed from the first time I press that shutter button, and this is it. This new breed of lenses designed specifically for mirrorless cameras and the mirrorless cameras make it possible to achieve results that not always were easy or possible to achieve in the past with DSLR cameras. I'm talking about ability to nail absolutely perfect focus every single time, wide open, as wide as f1.2 in this case. This is a first thing that you notice shooting with this lens wide open. The sharpness is just insane. I don't know what is everyone's obsession with sharpness in the corners of the frame, especially with wide aperture primes like this one, but this delivers insane amount of sharpness across the full frame. Yes, it gets even better, or should I say easier, to achieve the sharpness when closing the aperture down even one stop, but you don't buy stupidly expensive wide aperture lens like this to shoot with it at f4 all the time. You shoot it wide open. This really works extremely well when it comes to the sharpness, and in every other way too. No distortion, extremely low vignetting at f1.2, almost non-existent, no chromatic aberration. It is optically a dream lens, a perfect lens. This could be a problem if you want more character from the lens. This is the DS defocus smoothing version of this lens, which has got a special coating, if I understand it right, a filter-like feature that makes the background blur, the bokeh, even smoother. But basically removing all the character created by the shape of the aperture blades and the optics. Basically, the DS function makes it more clinical. If you want more swirly and pronounced bokeh, you should check out the cheaper non-DS version. This is perfect. You could say too perfect. You get insane sharpness and very safe, super smooth out of focus areas. The minimum focusing distance is standard 85mm for 85mm lens, not unusual for this focal length, but still very decent for close-up photography or for getting closer to your subject with. For video work, it is still optically perfect, but somehow maybe a little bit slow focusing, and it is loud. Very surprisingly, you can clearly hear the autofocus motor working, and you can also feel it when hand holding the camera with it on. 85mm is not maybe a first choice for a run and gun lens for videography, and maybe more suitable for tripod work. And this might not be a problem for everyone, but if you do record audio on board, you need to bear this in mind. It's a noisy lens. Listen to this. Build quality, it's a good looking lens, big, chunky, and one that for sure looks very pro. With the size comes the weight. It's not a light lens, and it weighs a solid 1,195 grams. It's all made from this rather cheap feeling plastic. Not what you expect from a lens at this price. Two basic switches, a standard auto manual focus switch and focus limiter with two options, full and infinity to 1.5 meter, to make it easier to acquire autofocus or focus and to reduce focus hunting by reducing its focus throw a bit, it's shorter. Fairly smooth focus ring, not the best I have seen. The biggest issue I have with manual focusing with this lens is the noise your fingers can make on this type of plastic. You can clearly hear it. It is a loud lens, autofocusing, and it can really be loud doing it manually too. Is that sound? It's just my fingers on the lens. Check this out. Nothing is rubbing inside the lens, it's just my fingers touching that specific type of plastic. There's also a second dial, control dial. This has got nice firm clicks by default, and this ring can be set to do different functions via the camera. You can change ISO, picture profiles, select focusing mode, or more like with traditional lenses, control aperture with it too. I might be wrong, but I can't find any way to disable the clicks on R6. If you know how, and if this is even possible, let me know in the comments below. Large lens needs a large front element, and this is 82mm filter thread. No stabilization built in, but it's fully weather sealed. Overall, for a lens this quality, optical quality, and this price, the feel of it is very disappointing. I'm not saying it is badly built. Hard to tell if it will take everyday battering for several years or not, but overall feel is not amazing. The price. This brings me to the price. It is a very expensive lens. Here in UK, it retails for £3,499 or $3,099 in US. Yes, it is pretty much optically perfect lens, but is it really worth this very hefty price tag? I don't really know. It is a specialist lens. It's not a lens you buy on a whim or a spur of a moment. The clinical look and superb sharpness might appeal to a lot of commercial shooters who need that safe and reliable performance. And if you are capable of delivering high-end results for high-paying clients, this could be a very good value for money too. Conclusion. It is a lens that potentially could make you a better photographer, as it is easier to nail that specific look with, but it could easily be the one that, unless you charge for every photo you take with it, a very expensive toy. There are other 85mm much cheaper than this, maybe not f1.2, but do you really need an aperture this wide? But if you shoot professionally and make money from portrait photography, this could be just one lens that you ever need, one that will keep giving excellent results every single time you press that shutter button, and one that can easily pay for itself. Personally, I've never been a fan of clinical lenses. I do always like the optical imperfections and swirly bokeh and what generally makes lenses unique. But from the first photo I have taken with this, I must say that I am hugely impressed. In this case, that ultra shallow and smooth depth of field combined with the incredible sharpness is this lens's characteristic. It is a lens that is in many ways optically superior to anything else on the market, and that's what you pay the hefty price for. And this is it from me. I hope this video was in some way informative or entertaining. If it was, please give me the thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. 85 what? But with this model, you also get the focus smoothing. Smoosh. It's all made from this rather cheap feeling plastic. I'm not saying it is badly built. Hard to tell if it is or not. You will, pow. Overall for lens, this roll.